It was a dark and stormy night, much like the previous ones, and Carradine wakes up in an underwater sea base. Little did she know, it was still storming and raining outside, even though she was underwater.
How deep am I to be able to determine this?
The bottom of the sea.
What the fuck? No.
To the point where you can see anglerfish floating all around you.
I wouldn't be able to see the weather conditions. Just saying.
Anyways, she walks up to a table and she sees a glass. She picks up the glass. She looks at it, sees that it's filled with some black caulking-like substance inside. And for some reason, she decides to take a chug out of it. Little did she know, she just ingested connection fluid. What is connection fluid? Nobody knows. But in the meantime,
It tastes like curdled milk.
in the meantime, Burgerchamp, Tomie, and Soma enjoy Popeye. Hello, welcome to A Horror Console, your weekly podcast where we talk about spooks, scares, frights, and stuff that terrorized us during the week. My name is Krusty Corpse, and with me is my horrifying co-host and wife, Killer Corrosion.
What the fuck?
What,
You didn't run these by me at all.
No, I came up with those today at work.
Uh.
And that with us this week is Mr. Burgerchamp. How are you doing, Burgerchamp?
Good to be here.
Great. This has been kind of a little bit of a
Long time coming.
and a kind of like a work in progress, trying to wait for October to get here so we could have Burgerchamp on, because he specifically asked to be on a
Horror month episode.
yes. So we have a lot of listeners asking, where does the name Burgerchamp come from?
So, God, this would have been 20 or more years ago.
Okay.
We were hanging out at the house that I lived at, and there may have been substances involved, and we ordered food from a place that actually I eventually ended up working, and I ate 4 1-pound cheeseburgers.
Dear God.
Jesus Christ.
with the sides and an
What?
order of fettuccine pesto.
What the
Well, I was super high, and
You
so
had
that's
to
where
have
it came
been.
from.
Wow.
That's amazing. I never would have expected that.
The thing is that Champ, they always ask Champ on the Discord chat for their codex, where did the name come from? And he just types, I ate a bunch of cheeseburgers once, but knowing the actual quantity. Holy crap.
That's so much
dude.
better.
That is
Yeah,
crazy.
I just assumed that you really like burgers. I don't know.
I like a burger, but that night I really liked burgers.
Apparently so. Jeez.
So I was gonna ask you if you ate food, which obviously you do. What's your favorite food?
Oh, that's tough because there's so many good ones. I like poke is something I've been getting a lot lately.
Ooh.
I love any South American or Central American, Mexican food, Caribbean food, but more the coastal side of the Caribbean than like I like Jamaican food and stuff, but like
Okay.
like empanadas and things like that. I all kinds of Asian food. I like a lot of foods. It's innocuous things I don't like peanut butter and marshmallows and things like that, or things that I don't like.
What the hell?
Okay. I will give you that doing that the spreadable marshmallow fluff, that's nasty.
It's awful.
Yeah, it's really bad. Let's see here. But there's nothing specific that you would say it's your favorite, like I could eat this every single day.
I mean, it's situational and it comes in phases. You're like, right now I probably could eat poke every day, until I got mercury poisoning or something like that. But like I go through phases where it's like I could eat Thai food forever. And I'm lucky. I work on a college campus and we get free meals so I can eat at the dorms. So there's always like something, or not the dorms. We don't eat at the dorms. We eat at the dining hall. And so I can get something different every day. And we are actually usually in the top 10 nationally in dining. So we have like African station some days and Thai station and things like that. So we get a good variety of things in the dining halls. So
that's why people gain the freshman 15.
I see. So Kaden, you actually worked at
Oh God, no, we're not gonna go there. No,
just tell us a little bit about please. Nobody
I
has
worked
ever
in a
heard
dining
this.
hall when I was in college. I only worked there for like a month. And then I didn't even submit proper notice. I just called and I was like, I'm not coming back.
That's
Sorry.
still going on. That's still going on.
Oh my gosh, it was so bad. I remember asking to work in the dish room because I didn't want to deal with my peers who were rather cruel to us poor students who worked in the dining hall. I'll never forget working the omelet station one night. This kid came over. He ordered the most fucking complicated omelet in the world, and they expected you to do the fancy flip, with your skillet. Oh, I dropped it all over the floor. I cried. He was so mean. Yeah, it was not a fun time.
That sounds terrible.
Not a fun time.
Yeah. So no more food service industry jobs.
And my grandpa told me that he didn't tell me. He told people at home that I was a cafeteria lady when they asked how college was going. Oh, man.
Your grandpa would do that. All right. So moving on. Do you read books, Champ?
Yeah, a lot. Let's see. What am I at right now? 160. I gotta look. I'm at 164 for the year.
What the hell? You're 10 ahead of me. What the hell? Oh, I gotta sit down and read a bunch of graphic novels once we finish this. Well, do you count everything? I know some people don't count audiobooks. Some people don't count graphic novels.
I do mostly audio because I can listen to it at work, and I do count that. And I do count like a graphic novel collection, but I usually don't read single issues, and I probably wouldn't count. I would count it as like I would read 6 of them and count it as the trade or something like that. Yeah.
Right. I do feel bad when I count the individual issues, but sometimes that's all I have available, and I'm not going to lose a number.
Well, and I don't count like books I read to my kids at night because it's the same.
Understandable.
4 books every night, So.
I don't think I would count those either.
You see his Goodreads, and it has like 10 entries
brown bear
or green eggs and green ham.
Green eggs and green ham.
Is that what it's called?
No.
Green eggs and ham?
But, I mean, the ham is green.
Green. It does work. So what's your favorite book genre? And if so, what's not if so. What's your favorite genre and book?
So my wife always says that she wants to look at what the algorithm puts out for my Goodreads, because I read biographies, nonfiction, fiction, science fiction, sappy books. I read all kinds of different things. I would probably say I'm rereading the Expanse series right now, and that's one of my favorite series going. The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, that series, the Stormlight Archive, I think it's called. That series is fantastic. I really like Brandon Sanderson. Fantasy, sci-fi, I read a lot of, but I also really am a huge fan of like thrillers and suspense books and mysteries. But I also really love Frederick Bachman.
Yes.
I actually just read Anxious People and really loved it.
Oh, so good. So
good. So I like a lot of different things. I try and mix up the nonfiction and the fiction. I try and mix up genre fiction and mysteries and thrillers and rotate around. Like my wife is a person who will just sit down when she reads a book in a series and just read all of them. I have to break it up in between, a book
Yeah,
in
no.
between each book.
Yeah, I tried to do that with some video games. Last time that I remember doing it was with the new Tomb Raider reboot that came out. I played the version that they put out on PS4 of it, and then the other two. And I did that before that with Uncharted, and it gets to the point where I'm like, okay, that's enough. I don't ever want to touch these games again.
Well, we all know that I take my time.
When are you going to read Thunderhead?
I hate you. I am halfway through the toll. Thank you. If I weren't reading a million other books at the same time, maybe I would read it faster. But yeah.
I see.
It's taken me like how many years to read 3 books?
Oh God, since we started dating.
Yeah.
It's been 5 years?
4.
4?
Yeah. It's a problem. It's fine.
All right. And then next question. Do you play video games?
Yes, quite a bit.
What's your favorite genre and game if you have a favorite game?
Probably, RPGs have always been like high up there, my favorites of all time. Like my most recent favorite's probably Yakuza Like a Dragon. I really like that.
So good.
A lot.
So good.
Portal 2 is another favorite. Like lifetime
that game
favorite.
made me vomit one time. It's very fast moving.
I've always played games since I was a kid. Like, Atari 2600 was the first console we had at our house.
Wow.
But
I've
RPGs,
never seen one of those in person.
RPGs really pulled me in. I love RPGs. Dragon Quest series, most of the Final Fantasies. Like now,
Most.
Yakuza, yeah, most.
Why most?
Final Fantasy 8 for me. That's
okay. But Yakuza Like a Dragon was the one where you heard me breathing heavily, and you were very mad because you thought I was crying at the end.
Oh, I was so mad. It's like, this fucker's in here crying. He's not gonna cry when he sees me walk down the aisle. He'll cry over a damn video game.
Wasn't that ending touching?
It was touching.
It was amazing. It was great ending.
So
the ending before the credits, you're like, what? And then you watch like 10 minutes of credits, and then there's a 45-minute touching cutscene. But it ends with just this ambiguous, like, somebody running away, and you're just like, is that it? Really?
It's so good. I can't wait for the next one that got announced recently. So, oh my God. I still haven't even touched Lust Judgment, and I'm waiting for Horror Month to be over so I can just dive in, because I need more Yakuza in my life.
Yeah,
it's not enough with 7, 8 games. It's not enough. I need more.
Well, that's the only one in the series I've played, so I've still got 0 through 6 to enjoy.
Oh man, 0 is really good. You're probably gonna hate Kiwami Wants Mechanics. You're gonna love 2. Probably gonna hate 3, 4, 5, and love 6. Yeah, that sounds about right in my head. Yeah. So, all right. So let me see here. I guess we're ready for book talk.
Oh God, already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We really didn't have any. Unless you have a question for Burgerchamp, like the one he sends us.
You covered all of them. I am nowhere near as creative in my question asking. I never will be. It's fine.
All right. So let's go ahead and get into book talk.
This week's book is Tomie, Tomato. I don't know how the fuck to pronounce it. By Junji Ito, published by Viz Media. And according to Goodreads, the version we read was published in December of 2016. I feel like that is not right based on the letter that is at the very end, written by Junji Ito, because I thought it was dated in 2010.
It might be that.
I don't know.
I don't know if it's his hard style or if it's these particular books that we've covered, but it does look very 90s. So I'm not 100%.
How does it look 90s? What about that is 90s?
It's the way that they're drawn. I don't know how to explain it, but it just looks like it's the art style is from the 90s, and the clothing and everything still does look kind of like it's from 90s Japanese media.
Okay.
Well,
You
and
say so.
I think this may originally Tomie was published in a magazine. It was a like a series of just short, unrelated stories that all starred the character Tomie.
That makes sense.
And so it was kind of like one of those like Shonen Jump style magazines. It was called,
Yes.
it was called Monthly Halloween. It was like a horror magazine, but it started in 1987. So it went through the 90s, and that's why it all looks so 90s.
That explains it. Okay.
Because I know he says in that letter at the very end there that he started working on Tomie 25 years before sitting down and writing that bit. So this is a long time coming.
Yeah, and there have been several not very good movies made of some of these stories, and that's why it feels so disjointed and stuff, is because it was originally just stories in a monthly magazine that the only connection they had is the character Tomie, other than like the first 3 or 4 stories, which all are kind of related.
Right.
It's kind of a Twilight Zone situation, where
I see.
Where it's a collection of unrelated stories starring Tomie. Happy-go-lucky girl Tomie.
Yeah, happy-go-lucky. Yeah, because it kind of, I read part of it. I read up to, what did I say I read up to? Up until the part where the carpet unrolls itself in the dumpster.
So like page
You made it
400.
pretty far.
Maybe. And it felt like the first story where they tell that she was killed and cut up into pieces. After that, it just jumps on the next story onto she's a new transfer student in another school.
Mm-hmm.
So that felt kind of a little bit disjointed, like what happened with the creature that we saw in that cave coming out of the water. I mean, does that ever come back in the book?
No, it's just a bunch of Tomie stories. Some of them are connected, but I felt like fewer were connected than were not. So basically, the story of Tomie is this beautiful young woman. All of the men love her. All of the men become obsessed with her, and they have dark circles around their eyes when they're obsessed with her.
I mean, just like the characters did in Uzumaki when they became obsessed with the spirals.
Yes, obsessive. Dark circles equal obsessiveness.
It's lack of sleep.
I am obsessed with the Lord of the Rings. That's why I have dark circles around my eyes. Anyway.
So if I have dark circles around my eyes,
You're obsessed with something.
Probably my job.
Or you're the lead singer to an emo band. One or
that
the other.
Too.
Yes.
My Chemical Romance.
Maybe they're obsessed with Tomie.
Romance? Do you know My Chemical Romance, Champ?
I actually work. I'm not a huge fan of My Chemical Romance, but I worked a wedding at my job that was themed to the Black Parade.
You're shitting me.
They played only My Chemical Romance music at this, and they had a string quartet play the entire album. Welcome to the Black Parade, the whole album during the reception.
Wow.
That's awful. That's so bad.
Was it actually good, or was it terrible?
I mean, it was a good arrangement. They were recognizable as the songs they were supposed to
be. Oh God. I just like, no matter how emo I got, My Chemical Romance was never really my thing. I liked teenagers, and that was about it.
I think Gerard Way is really talented. Like,
definitely.
He wrote Umbrella Academy and a bunch of other really good, comics and stuff like that. And they are all talented musicians. They just make a style of music I'm not into,
See,
bless them.
I think the farthest I got into emo music was Avenged Sevenfold, and I got stuck there and I never went past it. But I think My Chemical Romance is before that, but I never hit My Chemical Romance. So I don't know where I'm
Was
standing.
My Chemical Romance before Avenged Sevenfold? That doesn't sound right.
I think they were
I don't
about the
know.
same time.
I was
feel
too
like
busy
they're
obsessing over
contemporary.
Nickelback.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds about right. All right, back to Tomie. Otherwise, we'll get stuck on bands.
Yeah, all these men are obsessed with her, and that's like her goal is to get all of the men falling in love with her and then tell them that they're scumbags and make them want to kill her. Every single man who falls for her winds up either wanting to kill her or killing her. Most of the time they succeed in actual killing, but everybody's got to chop her up into multiple pieces every single time. And none of these people know each other to know to chop her up into multiple pieces. They all just do it. I don't know. It's so wacky. But then of course she regenerates from all of these little pieces because she's like a lizard parasite thing.
I think I've realized something.
What?
So she regenerates from these pieces?
Yeah, well, not in every story. Well, does she regenerate from all the little pieces in every story? Basically.
So does that mean that? Yeah.
Some of them end with her being cut up, and then you never find out what happens. Or it. I don't know. And there's also no origin story to tell why she's like that.
Exactly.
Or,
I thought that maybe
unrelated.
Mm-hmm. I thought that maybe the one story with her supposedly in the baby form would explain her origin. It did not go there. No, it didn't.
Well, and there are plenty of stories with an adult head and a baby body. There's quite a few of those.
Yeah, there was. I remember one by the Damon brothers, where one of them was a little baby. Well, a little person acting like he was a baby, and then the other one was an adult and supposedly adopted him.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, the movie Little Big Man or whatever.
Yeah.
What?
He's a guy who broke out of prison and he's pretending to be a baby.
What?
It's not kidding. It is a real movie.
Are you kidding me?
Little
real
Man.
movie. Little Man.
It's called Little Man. Little Man. Yeah. Yeah. See, that doesn't look familiar to you?
Oh my god, no, it doesn't look familiar to me at all. What the hell?
Yeah, he's like an ex-con or something, and he has to pretend to be a baby.
Oh my god, I can't.
It's like Big Mama's House in reverse.
Yeah, it's a movie.
I can't.
So there was no Tomie passing herself off as a baby because she was an ex-con or something.
Not because she's an ex-con, but well, that baby story was really weird. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, just that one.
Oh god, they were awesome. Wait, so that means you didn't get to the sake story. Sake, whatever the fuck it's called.
The thing that I drink that you hate?
Yeah, you didn't get to that story, did you? Oh my god. Okay, so there's this one story where one of her boyfriends has chopped her up into what looks like dog food. And she was trying to regenerate, so he just kept chopping it up into more and more pieces. So there's just pounds and pounds of this Tomie dog food all over the place. And he calls his friend over. He's like, "Hey, you gotta help me. You gotta help me get rid of all these pieces of her." So they take buckets full of her remains to the sake factory, and they dump it into the vats where they're making the sake. And then they start drinking her, and the manager of the factory is like, "No, this is some rice dinner thing." I can't remember what they called it. What did they call it? It's an M word. I need to go grab my coffee. I didn't bring it.
I've got the book here.
Oh, good.
I gotta figure out which one it is.
It's there towards. It's towards the end. It's pretty close to the end.
So you just read that.
Moromi?
Recently.
Is that it?
Yes.
What's Moromi?
Moromi, they explain it with a little asterisk underneath that panel. It's like a rice and something.
Let me see here. Is the name of fermenting mass made by mashing shubo?
What?
Steamed rice, koji, and water together.
Yeah. So apparently her remains mixed with sake tastes like that.
That looks very, very gnarly. Oh, here, that is that what you're talking about?
I don't know that that's actually a panel anywhere.
Let me see if I can send it on the chat to Champ.
But anywho, I was so surprised, like they were eating her remains, and I expected all of them to have like alien moments, like we had back at the beginning when they gave this girl one of Tomie's kidneys, and Tomie like started growing inside of her body. But then that story ends, so maybe they all did have little Tomies growing inside of them from eating her remains.
I did.
Tommy's in their tummy.
Tomie's in their tummy. Oh God.
That sounds like a good shirt idea.
That's terrible.
Good shirt.
Oh,
Tommy's
God.
in their tummy. I did find kind of funny the part where she says, "Cut this tumor off of me," and then cut her head off.
Yeah. Well, just the face.
Yeah, she wanted the face cut off, but no, they chopped the entire head off, and then the body just gets up and walks away.
And there were some things that came up multiple times that I expected to be elaborated upon later, like the fact that Tomie is obsessed with caviar and foie gras, or however the fuck you pronounce it. And she mentions it multiple times, and then someone like finally gives it to her, and she's like, "No, I don't want that. I want something different." Like, what the fuck is this girl? She is literally the definition of every mean girl ever put into one person that regenerates. Yeah. Why are you looking at me like I'm a crazy person?
All I can picture is just Lindsay Lohan regenerating.
No, it's Regina George, not Lindsay Lohan. Regina George, Rachel McAdams. She's the ultimate mean girl.
That's true.
Yeah.
The one that I found most disturbing, and I don't know why, is the one with the hair.
The hair was so freaky, especially when they're just like teeny tiny little hairs all over the face. Oh man.
Yeah, that's the
Oh,
one.
that was really strange. And I was sitting there
Also-
wondering the whole time, like, who her dad was. Was her dad one of the guys from one of the earlier
It was Sigmund
stories?
Freud.
Like,
Her dad was Sigmund Freud.
That's what I was gonna say. Her dad just has a box of hair.
what
like-
the hell?
What?
I'm surprised he never planted it on himself. Like, that was.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be
Gosh,
on his face.
Which one did
It
I
would be on
find the
his
most
bald spot. I
disturbing?
mean,
No, lower.
oh.
It would have caressed him.
What is with Ito making these weird characters that are just so off-putting?
I know which
That's
one
his
disturbed
thing.
me the most.
Yeah, that is his thing.
I felt like he took it just a step too far with the little boy. That story was fucked up. That was so
Yeah.
messed up. There's this little boy who finds her remains, and she's all sliced up, which happens later that we get to see her sliced up like she is in his story. But he finds her like at a cave at the beach, and she's like, "Oh, I'll be your mommy now. Come give me kisses." And he goes crazy. He's just a little boy. He doesn't kill his parents, does he? I don't
I
remember.
don't think so.
But in
He kills someone. He goes back to the beach to go see his mommy, Tomie, and she's making out with some other man, and he kills that other man with a pair of scissors.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
It's just a little boy.
In Uzumaki, he killed a bunch of children. He had one eaten by something, and then
Mhm.
like 5 of them caught on fire running away from the light in the lighthouse.
That's true. I
Yeah,
don't
and
know.
a,
This one
a
just really
high
bothered me.
schooler turns into a snail. in that
Well, it's
one.
a high
Yeah.
schooler.
And then
High schoolers are awful.
and then the other one's hair gets so long that she dries up.
Oh yeah, that was a
Yeah.
high school kid.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I googled him because I needed to have a face. He doesn't look as fucked up as I thought he was going
No.
to.
No.
He looks like a totally
It
normal,
looks like your
nerdy
granddad.
man. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
And I-
Well, the funny thing is that he's also really well known in Japan for writing, and you can get them collected in the U.S. This
Mhm.
series of manga about his cats,
What
like
the hell?
and it's like a funny, playful book about his cats because he's a huge cat guy, loves cats, and so he
Wow.
wrote a comic about his cats, and they're not spiralized or possessed or fish
Just cats.
people or anything like that. They're just cats.
They're not regenerating. Oh my god.
No.
that would be something we should look into.
You know, that makes me think there weren't any pets or animals in this, were there?
I don't know.
I don't think
He
there
definitely
were.
likes animals more than people.
Way more. Jeez.
There's in the book Smash that he wrote, which is actually you have to wait till the end of the book to find out why it's called Smashed. Still fun. He has one story about this kid who has a cat, and then the cat eats some weird creature and starts becoming kind of like a monster. Then the cat suddenly explodes into a ball of lightning, and the cat's back to normal again.
It's a flirkin.
It's a flirkin.
Maybe that happened to him.
It might
Maybe.
Maybe the cat rubbed up against his pants so much that it created a ball of static and just shocked them entirely. And that's why he created Lightning Cat.
Oh my gosh, I just realized something else. Mr. Takagi, he was in so many stories, and then all of a sudden he's just gone. He's just gone. No more Mr. Takagi. It was like there for several stories. He was in every single one, or maybe they'd skip one and he'd come back. He never came back after like halfway through.
Oh,
It's
man.
just it's all over the place, I'm telling you. But still very enjoyable. Like it amazes me how he can take such real things and make them so fucked up. So fucked up. I just oh man. But he also said in the little bit that he wrote there at the end that he started working on it while he was a dental hygienist. I'm like, I could see a dental hygienist
my.
coming up with shit like this.
Yep.
I could.
Yep. Maybe that's what kept them sane the
Thing
entire
about
time.
pulling teeth and one coming back up in its spot. I don't know. That's where my mind goes. I'm crazy.
So, I think more of the stuff you would see, like, oh, this person has gum pain. Let's see what's causing the gum pain. And there's just worms in it.
That's disgusting.
Stuff you see. And I have no idea the stuff I saw when I worked at the hospital.
We're not going to go into that.
Has some real fucking creepy shit. So, what else do you want to say about Tomie?
It's real fucking freaky. I mean, if you're looking for something that'll just really give you the heebie-jeebies before Halloween, go for it. It'll give you all the heebie-jeebies. I honestly think it may have freaked me out more than Uzumaki did. I'm glad I did not read it while under the influence. Would have been all kinds of freaked out.
What about you, Champ?
I feel like this is a really good book to pick up every Halloween, read a couple stories, and then put it away for the next October and just read it over the course of like 2 or 3 years, where you just read a couple stories a week during spooky season, and you don't even have to read them in order. I feel like reading it all in one binge session kind of took something away for me. Like this would be I really enjoyed it, but it would be better for me to read a couple stories, wait long enough for me to forget kind of what was going on, and then read another couple, make it more of an episodic thing. It's just loses something when you like go through all of them at once, and there's things that feel repetitive and things that feel disjointed and disconnected. But like if you were reading this in real time as it was coming out, like one story a month, like you would be compelled, you'd be wanting the next month for that next story to come out and see what's going on. I think it loses something in reading it all collected at one time.
That's so true. I think about that with Saga because I binged a little bit of it and I was like, okay, I don't want to read this anymore. But then I picked up, a volume here and there, until my dreams were shattered.
But Burgerchamp,
but doing it here and there, I know you made my day. I squealed, I jumped up off the couch, and did a happy dance. I was so happy, so happy. But yeah, it definitely. What's the word I'm looking for here? It retains some of the magic when you don't go at it all at once.
Okay, I can
If that makes sense.
I can see that.
Well, I know a lot of people don't like. They're starting to do that with streaming shows. And I actually kind of like the one a week kind of thing because it takes you back to like when Lost came out. And Lost, however you feel about it in hindsight or whatever, that was a show where you watched it and then you had a whole week to do water cooler discussion and everybody had their theories and you went online and you read about what the next episode was going to be about. And that was actually what the joy of that show was. It wasn't about the show or the, like a lot of the shows during that time, Lost or Battlestar Galactica or like a lot of those shows, we would
24.
get together in groups and watch it every week. And then the season would end and you're just speculating for a whole, off season as to, and that's what I like about the once a week releases is everybody gets to put their theories out there. Everybody gets to put their, what's going to happen next. And it causes those discussions. I feel like a binge culture has kind of taken that away from us.
Yeah, we don't build any anticipation with binge culture at all.
You know what the problem is? The problem is millennials. They need that.
Hello. Hello.
Instant gratification.
Hello. Excuse you.
See, I have a friend that I tell him, I'm going to go buy this game today when I get out of work. And he's like, oh, just wait a couple of minutes. It's going to be cheaper. A couple of days, it's going to be cheaper. Or why don't you just get it off of Amazon? It's cheaper. Or go to Walmart. It's going to be cheaper. I'm like, I need it now. I have Alan Wake sitting there. I bought that like 3 weeks ago.
I need it now, and I need to support my local store.
I need to support my local video game store. That's what he's also told me, you know what you should do? You should just have your paycheck funneled directly into Cybertron games and then just go and select whatever games you want afterwards. Like, if I didn't have other bills to pay, I would do that. That sounds like a great idea.
We would not be together.
Why? I have video games. I'm happy. You would do the same thing with Barnes & Noble if you could.
No, I wouldn't.
No?
I want things other than books.
Like what?
Like Lord of the Rings merchandise.
They have
and
that
Funko
there.
Pops.
They do.
They have that
Well,
there too.
that Lord of the Rings merch is few and far between these days. The further and further we get from the movie releases, it's fewer and further between that I find it.
Don't worry, the Amazon show is going to bring marketing and
I'm
merch right
so
back.
excited.
Yeah.
Let me
I wouldn't
check
be
my
surprised.
countdown. 319 days and 4 hours.
I wouldn't
I'm
be
so
surprised if they did a reprint of the Funkos that you want after the show comes out.
Yeah, I missed like the Hobbit Funkos because I wasn't into Funkos back then. Sad
Yeah.
day.
That's true.
Sad day.
All right, so let's start with you, Champ. What do you rate Tommy?
Tommy, Tommy.
Out of
Are we
5.
5 or 10? Are we out of 5 or out of 10?
Out of 5.
Yeah, books are 5,
5?
games are 10. Yeah.
I would say this is a solid 3.5, 4, somewhere 3.75, somewhere in there for me. Like it's definitely not my favorite of his works. And like I said, if I read this over the course of a year or over the course of a few Halloweens, I maybe would have been way more into it. The art is unbelievable. Like his art is always top notch, but I do like his short stuff the best, and this is some of his really good short stuff. I think I don't like it as much as like Yo or Uzumaki, but I mean it definitely, I read it before I went to bed every night, so it gives you that creepy vibe,
Definitely.
Yeah. I tried to get her to read Gil, but she wanted to read Tommy. She was insistent on reading Tommy.
Yo is way more gory and way more I guess messed up in a traditional horror sense. It's not quite as psychological as Tomie because it's about
Right.
poison vomiting fish on legs that
What the fuck?
kill everybody. But
That's exactly why I wanted you to read it.
I mean, I will read it. I just,
Next
I
year?
don't know. I was dead set on Tommy tumor for whatever reason. I don't know. I can't explain why I had my heart set on this one.
All right, so Karen, what do you
Man,
give-
I'm too easy. I don't want to answer.
just say it?
I gave it 5 stars.
You gave it 5 stars.
I did. I mean, like I tried to take everything into consideration. I felt like even though some of it was disjointed, it was still tied together nicely. The art, I don't know how this man goes into so much detail. It's incredible. It really is.
His art to me looks like I don't remember his name, but the mangaka for Berserk. Like when the fucked up parts are happening, it's very detailed, it's very visceral, and nothing is held back.
Something else I need to read.
What?
Berserk.
Yeah,
I know it's been sitting on my bookshelf for like 4 years.
You might find that a bit difficult.
You bought it for me.
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't know. I didn't know before. That's when we started dating.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Have you read Berserk?
Yeah, a
Champ?
long time ago, like in the mid 90s, when it was like,
When we
I
were children.
remember watching the VHS of the
Oh
the anime, but no, I read the books. They were really expensive because you had to import the English versions
God. Oh, yeah.
from Europe, and it was, I mean, they were really expensive. My neighbor's uncle was way into anything Japan, so he had a lot of them, like Fist of the North Star, Guyver, Berserk, Legend of the Overfiend, Ninja Scroll, all that stuff I watched because of him. I played the fairly decent Dreamcast game of Berserk. I really liked it. Guts is such a cool character. That sword is not realistic. But it's a great, and it is violent.
Yeah, it is. It is. The game made by what is it? Omega Force. The guys from Dynasty Warriors.
Mm-hmm,
That game is fantastic. It goes all the way up past the Golden Age, Golden Arc, and very deep into after he loses his arm and he's fighting these Indian-looking demons. That game is really fun. It's if I would suggest buy it digital because physical is very expensive after the mangaka passed away, but it's a very fun game.
Yeah, and that was just this year, right?
Was it? It was recent. It was very, very recent.
Because I don't
I
don't think Berserk ended until he died. Like, I think he was still.
It still hasn't ended. I know a new chapter came out a couple of months ago after he passed. Let me take a look here. Berserk mangaka author death. May 6, 2021. Yeah, this year. Wow. That was recent too. Well, that's another thing that we're never going to get finished. All right. So let's go ahead and get into games and stuff. So for this week's game, we have Soma. It's a first-person survival horror video game developed and published on September 22nd, 2015 for PC, PS4, and Linux by Frictional Games. On December 1st, 2017, it was released on Xbox One. I played it on PS5. What about you, Champ?
I played it on PS4.
PS4, all right. Yeah. I noticed, and I'm guessing this is the PS5's fault because I've had it happen with some other games. I did have a bunch of graphical issues where shadows were popping up where there shouldn't be, and there was kind of like pieces of the environment would just move for no reason and then pop right back where they belong. I've had it happen with other PS5 games, PS4 games on PS5. Did you experience any of that?
So I didn't have any of the graphical stuff. I had lots of audio issues and a lot of load time issues. The audio stuttered a lot. And my daughter played this earlier this year. And
how old is your daughter?
12. But she's played through Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 8.
Okay.
She loves
I
that.
can't even be in the room while he's doing that.
So she's braver
More
than
power
me.
to her.
I did not select Resident Evil 7 for a reason.
Yeah, she loved Resident Evil 7. Couldn't wait for Resident Evil 8. Like, played through it as soon as it came out. Like, did a run where she collected everything. Like, she's way into the horror games. She's played Dead Space. Like, she likes the horror games. And so when she played this, I heard the stuttering, but I wasn't in around a lot when she was playing it. So I started it, and I thought it was part of the game. I thought, like, since it was a simulation or whatever, that it was part of what was going on. And then it kept happening to where it was affecting my enjoyment of the game. So I looked it up, and they were like, no, this is not supposed to do that, but it's pretty common. So I deleted it and re-downloaded it, and it fixed it, and it was fine. But it's not part of the game if it starts to stutter. It still runs kind of like shit on PS4. It chugs. It has really long load times.
Wow.
But it was much better after I deleted it and re-downloaded it.
I see. You also told me that you wish that you had played it on safe mode.
Because we were playing it on a time, like a time, not crunch.
Frame.
We had plenty of time, but under a time frame. I wish I'd have played it on the casual mode because it just would have made it. There were some sections, and you don't realize this if you're playing it in casual mode. There's the section where you have to blow the reactor or overload the reactor or whatever. You have to pull those little tubes out of the reactor to cause like an alarm to unlock the safety thing, and so you can get the sub away. I had to do that part like 25 times because the enemy just shows up immediately behind you, and if you turn the wrong direction, you immediately die.
That was in the segment where it was in the ship underwater. And so because I played it on safe mode, I would go up to the monsters just to get a good look at them. One, you can't because the screen starts flickering and jumping all over the place. But I did notice that one particular monster had his penis and balls completely modeled and exposed.
What the fuck?
Yeah. I just crouched and I looked and I'm like, holy shit, this dude is flashing dick and balls everywhere.
Well, the real question is, was he packing?
You know, it was fairly average size. So
average size for a monster, or
for a human, for a what's it called? Humanoid shape. But the thing is, I don't know if he's a grower or a shower. So
that's true.
What the fuck? What does that mean?
So a grower is that the whole penis size is revealed when it gets erect. A shower is that's the size the whole time.
Oh, I have literally never heard that. Seriously, never.
Well, if you haven't heard that before, please listen to a novel console because you guys are going to learn more stupid, useless shit.
Learn
like
all
this.
the anatomy lessons from video games and books.
So I would go up to the monsters and just start looking at them, and it kind of felt like they were either afraid of me or they wanted to keep their own personal space because they would just start backing up, and I would get closer and they would just keep backing up. Like, okay, so you're supposed to chase me and hurt me and kill me, but you're afraid of me. You just keep backing up and backing up. So I thought that was very funny. And that's not to say that the game doesn't have funny moments, because between Simon and Catherine, they do have some conversation moments that are actually very, very funny and like a British type of comedy way.
This British humor is this a thing unto itself. It's very unique.
Yeah, it's very, very dry. So that I actually did chuckle a couple of times. So what do you think about the story, Champ?
I actually thought the story was really good, and I thought it was going to go in one direction, and it kind of went in another direction that I actually really liked. It is really well paced as far as story goes. It reveals it to you at a good pace, but it also, even though there are like journals and things that you can read lying around, it doesn't rely really heavily on using that to explain the story. Those are more just flavor text. It really bothers me when a game requires you to read every journal and every book and everything to get like just story that you would get from playing a normal game.
Yeah,
I don't mind it
Dark
as
Souls.
Yeah, I don't mind it as flavor text. I don't mind it as something to flesh out the story if you want it to. I don't like it when it leans on it. And this did a good job of scattering things around that aren't necessarily story crucial, and it's paced really well. The story leads you through the game pretty well, even if the game itself doesn't do a very good job of that.
So I did like that when you find out that the objective is you got to get to this specific part of the whole underwater sea base, it's laid out very early out in the game. And when you get to that part, that's where the game ends. I mean, the cutscenes afterwards are just fucking great. I thought the story was, it was the type of horror story that actually makes me feel like, okay, this is possible to some degree. So this is actually good horror. So little spoiler, the game takes place in an underwater sea base that used to be a thermal reactor and eventually got turned into a rail cannon that shot satellites into space from the bottom of the sea. And a meteor had hit the Earth a year prior and killed every person on the planet. So the only people alive were the ones in that water. Underwater. So their goal is to send something into space to preserve human life.
That's a lot. That's not what I was expecting.
Well, and
That's not what I was expecting either.
and there's more to it than that too.
Yeah.
Which would, but I don't want to. I don't want to spoil it more than that.
Yeah.
And I was concerned that the whole game, and this is kind of a spoiler, but it's a spoiler for what the game is not. I was concerned that this was all going to end up being a metaphor for fixing your brain. You know, because that's how it starts, you know, and at the end it was going to be like, oh, you had the weirdest dream while you were in the machine. How did it work? You know, and I'm glad that it wasn't that.
Yeah, I'm very glad that it didn't end that way, and I'm glad that the way that it ended that way, because it was perfect. It was just perfect.
I'm glad that the end was the end.
That the end was the actual end that they went with.
No, I get what you're saying. If it had gone on further than that, it would have ruined everything they set up.
Yeah, yes, yeah, 100%. And just the ending for the character that you control itself is just peak horror. It's just amazing. It's great. It's like everyone's one fear, and it happens to this character, and it's just great. I did have a big issue at the start of the game, and it's when they tell you, oh, you got to drink the MRI paint so that we can scan your brain.
Impossible to find.
I couldn't find it. I don't even remember where I found it. Where was
I think it's
paint?
in a medicine cabinet in a closet or something, like it's somewhere. I don't know. It took me like 25 minutes to find the stupid stuff.
Yep, I was opening the fridge, pulling out shit from the fridge, from the cabinets, from the desk, from the bedroom, everywhere, and I couldn't find the fucking medicine. The game does a very poor job sometimes of letting you know exactly what you need to do, especially in the part where you get an Omni tool and you have to put a security chip in it. And the security chip was right next to the Omni tool. So I placed the Omni tool where it goes, and I'm just looking around the entire fucking level for it. And then I come back and I look at the thing and I see like some things next to it. And I move my cursor over, and then it gives me the option to pick it up. I'm like, oh, Jesus fucking shit. Is this game going to be like that the entire fucking time? I'm going to hate this. But no, I actually loved it. It was very good. What did you think about the sound design in the game?
Once the sound was fixed, I think it has really, really good sound design, like really good ambient sound. Like when you're underwater, it really gives you that underwater sound. As your character changes throughout the game, the way sound affects you changes. And I thought it sounded really good. I think they did a great job with the sound design. None of the music really stands out. I don't think there was a lot of music.
There was in some certain parts where it got tense, like you hear explosions and like everything's shaking, and then like there's like some faint music in the background, like making it more tense. But other than that, there wasn't a lot. And the voice acting, I think the voice acting was fantastic in the game.
It's really good.
Well,
everyone is clearly profoundly Canadian. But they're all
What's that all about?
They're all good actors, except for maybe the only actor that I was like, all right, they told you to push it, and you push it as far as it would go, is his boss at the comic store. When you get the phone call on the train at the very beginning,
Yeah.
that guy goes way over the top with it. But everyone else I thought was really good, but they are profoundly Canadian.
Yeah. There was one thing I appreciated was whenever you would run into a robot that would talk, it actually had like that a digital sounding,
Like a swishing,
yeah, kind of like a little pitch added to it. And then when they weren't robots anymore, and in the case of Catherine, then she had a normal voice. And whenever people were suffering, which happens twice, I think, in the game, it was good.
I'm not gonna lie though, the guy I found that you can make suffer on the railroad tracks or whatever.
Yeah,
I just kept messing with him. I kept turning it on and off because he kept saying different things every time. I mean, all of them were screaming in pain, like, please make it stop. But like, he said different things every time. I had to hear everything he said.
See, I flipped that switch to turn the power off, and he started getting shocked. I was like, okay, so let me just unflip it and walk away. And then I just kept going, and the story kept going. I'm like, I wonder if I would have left that switch up long enough, he would have eventually died. Like, I guess I'll never find out. But the game did do a really good job of making me feel guilty about everything that I killed. And most of it was robots. And I still felt extremely guilty. And I've never felt guilty about killing anything before in a video game.
Yeah, you got to pull the plug on a lot of people.
Yeah, especially that last one that you get to kill, and they ask you specifically to kill them. That one was hard to watch. It's a very good game. I was not excited at all about this game. I was actually dreading playing it because it's a walking simulator with monsters. I thought it was going to be just annoying. And the monsters were annoying because they didn't serve anything other to the game than just, world building, but it was still a great game.
So what you're telling me is this is not where your old handle comes from.
No, my old handle?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Soma drums.
Oh, Soma drums. No, that's I used to play drums, and I love Soma Cruz from Castlevania, Hari of Sorrow. So I put them together. So it's not Soma from this game.
Damn.
Yeah. Actually, Soma, from when I was doing the research on the game, the way that it refers to as the word Soma is from the Greek word, which refers to the body, specifically the body as a distinct from the mind or the soul, which is actually very story specific for what happens in the whole game. There are a few notes that I have here that I want to touch. First off, the anglerfish segment. Did it get you too?
A little bit. I like those kind of segments in games.
See, everything underwater was amazing. It was all great. It was really cool. But there's this one part where they telling you walk along these lines so the monsters don't eat you, and there's a light, and you walk towards it, and it turns out it's an anglerfish. A massive anglerfish.
Those are scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely ate me.
It ate you. No, not me. I had easy mode, so I ran away. And the whole cave full of spider crabs, that whole section can go to hell.
He hates crabs.
I did not.
He won't eat crabs. He doesn't like to look at crabs. Crabs terrify him.
Yeah, that section was, oh God, I felt my skin tingling the whole time I was walking through that fucking cave. Ugh. Yeah, so no crabs for me.
So random.
Why is it random?
I mean, if it were snakes, I would totally understand. With some fucking crabs, make your skin crawl.
Yeah.
They can snip a toe off.
See, it's not more that, it's more that their mouths open sideways and their eyeballs are on stems. Why would a creature like that exist on this planet?
To terrify you.
But pretty much, I mean,
The one thing you fear.
millions of years of evolution just to scare me. Oh God. Let me see what else I have here. The human character models were ugly.
Yeah, like early PS2 looking character models.
Yeah, and it surprises me because all the backgrounds and everything and the robots and everything, they look great, but the human character models are very fucking ugly. Let me see what else. The whole sunken ship segment where you walk into that comm room and there's that looping piece of audio about the meteor crashing and that Lisbon was all completely set on fire.
Yeah, on the video monitor, you can see the news or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So while you're walking around through that whole ship, you keep hearing that constantly, and it just drives the hammer home about the world is fucked. I think if this story were turned into a book or a short story or whatever, you might actually like it, Karen.
I mean, I liked Rapture. That's what all of this sounds like to me, because water and water.
I mean, a lot of people do associate it with BioShock because it is very BioShocky, especially with the whole connector gel thing, where you can download a person's personality into a robot and connect it to a body without a head.
No, thank you.
It's great. The whole thing, I just loved it.
Some Zola shit.
Yeah, some Solar shit. What about you, Champ? Is there anything specific that stood out for you that you really liked, or something that you really hated?
So I really like the concepts of when you download a conscience, that conscience starts from where you downloaded it, but that person's conscience doesn't leave their body. So you can have two versions of that person, one a consciousness from whenever they were uploaded, and another is that person who's lived the rest of their life. That's a really cool concept. I liked the science behind the whole concept behind the project was to send ships into space without using fuel. So they had a big loop that they would swing it around and slingshot into space. That's a cool science concept. I thought that the emotional beats were really clear and really well paced. The story was really well written and really well acted. One of the only real complaints that I have is that a lot of the areas look really samey. The different labs all kind of look the same, and it's easy to get turned around, or there were some segments where you would have to run all the way across the base to collect one item, and then run all the way back across the base to use that item or whatever. Those were pretty few and far between, but sometimes I could get lost because there's not a real map, and some of the areas just look very similar. When you're out in the water, it's a little easier because usually the path you need to take is lit. But when I got to that very first area, the first big area outside where you're trying to call the blimp, it took me a while to figure out exactly where I was supposed to go, because a lot of the buildings were lit up and you have to do things in a very specific order there. You have to go to that panel and put in a bunch of codes or whatever. So that took me a while to figure out. Other than that, getting lost a few times. I mean, the game really still only took me maybe 8 hours total to beat. 6.5, 7, 8 hours total to beat.
I think I did it in around 6 hours, because I played most of the game in one sitting, and then I just woke up the next day just to mop up the ending. But yeah, the length of the game is perfect for what it is. And yeah, I do want to say that the lack of a map is kind of a detriment to the game. And the few maps that you do find are bad.
They're useless because they're stationary. You can't take them with you.
And then you see the map and it says you are here, and then it shows you a couple of hallways to where the rest of the rooms are, and when you're actually walking to them, you just get turned around.
It's like a map of America It's like a map of America you get on a kid's play mat at Denny's.
Oh my God.
That just shows you where all the Denny's are. It's
Yep.
not helpful at all.
See, and there's that one where you go into it was like a security office, and you unlock a door from there, and on the map the door shows up green, and then I just went into every single room trying to find the door that I just opened because I had no idea where exactly it was. It's bad map design, very bad.
Yeah, and there were some instances like when you're in the dorms, and I can go into like all these different dorms, and then there's not a lock on some of, but you can open the ones with the manual locks, and there's not a manual lock on it, and then you go do a story thing, and you come back, and there's a lock on the door that you're supposed to go into. I'm like, well, where was this before? Who put this up now?
Yep.
Like I couldn't go into that room. It would have been better for me to be able to go into that room but not know what I was looking for than to just,
have to come back after.
Yeah.
I didn't not like. I didn't. I was very meh with the part when they tell you, oh, you got to find a robot's head, you got to find a battery, and you got to find some gel. Like, okay. I went and found the thing. I come back. Oh, you got to find this. I go look where they tell me to look. I come back. No, look in the specific part for what you're looking for. Oh, okay. And I get there and I see everything. I'm like, I can't grab it. Oh, what am I supposed to do? And then you can basically manipulate everything in the environment, but you have to point at everything from a very close distance. Otherwise, you can't.
Yeah, it's pretty persnickety about where you put that.
Yeah.
And doodad.
Still, even after all of that, all of those complaints, I really, really enjoyed this game. And I'm actually very happy that you picked this game, because if not, I would have never played it. So before we get into let's go ahead and get into the rating. What do you think out of 10?
I think it's probably a solid 8 out of 10 for me, maybe. Like I'm pretty unaffected by the horror aspect of horror games. Maybe I'm a terrible person, or like I can just, but I mean I was raised on horror. I love horror games. So it wasn't scary for me, but it does set a really good mood. And I don't know that the game's intent is to be scary. Like there are parts where you get freaked out, but it's much more science fiction than I wish I'd have played it on casual, because I find that the bad guys were more of an annoyance than something to be feared, or they're more of an annoyance, and it just forces you to do stealth that's not very good stealth. But otherwise, other than like some samey looking environments and some parts where I got turned around and didn't really know specifically where to go, I really enjoyed it. I like that type of puzzle game where the solution's tickling the back of your brain, and once you figure it out, you realize you knew what you needed to do the whole time. It's just putting the order of operations correct. And the story was great. It did wrap it up really nicely. 8 out of 10.
So I definitely give this game a 9 out of 10, because just because of the story. The gameplay wasn't horrible. I think the whole pacing was perfect. Apart from a few graphical issues and the annoying enemies, even in casual mode, they were just a nuisance getting in your way. It's still a 9. The Earth is done, and you're the only hope for humanity. And in the end, it really doesn't pan out the way that you wanted it to. It's just perfect. It's what I like. This type of horror that I like. I loved Resident Evil. I love Resident Evil. I loved Resident Evil 8, but I just play those games like action games. I don't play them as horror games. So for me, it's just perfect. It scratched an itch that I didn't know I had. So that's it. Karen.
Yes.
Do you know what time it is?
I do.
Champ, do you know what time it is?
I do.
What time is it?
It's time for Give Me the Garbage.
Is that the time that it is, Champ?
It is time for Give Me the Garbage.
All right. That is Give Me the Garbage.
kitchen. They should call it Louisiana Chicken Kitchen.
Yeah, because they do rice and beans.
They have fish and shrimp as well where I am.
They do?
They do.
What the hell?
They do bring shrimp over here a few times.
I didn't get it this time because that's what I usually get. And I wanted to get something different. But they have fish and shrimp here.
Is it any good?
Yeah, it's fine. It's like for like a Long John Silver's quality, that kind of like cheapo, everything in the fryer tastes like fish, kind of. And I like that.
Oh dear.
Why do these biscuits taste like halibut?
Yeah. I like that kind of stuff. We have a place here called Scrimp Shack.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
called
like SKRIMP Scrimp Shack.
That's some bubblegum shit.
That's all fried shrimp and all fried fish.
Oh god. Sounds
And
like home.
it's not as good as that, but it's decent.
Oh dear. Yeah, any place called Scrimp Shack, I imagine has to be pretty damn good. Oh boy. So I can't say this was our best Popeyes experience ever. Normally we are not disappointed with the Popeyes.
Popeyes
but,
actually won our
they
best
were really
chicken sandwich.
off their game this night.
They were the best chicken sandwich that we had that day. We had like 20 different chicken sandwiches.
But we always have to say that they would not have won had Church's been crispier.
Yeah.
If it had not been sitting and lost its zhuzh.
At Church's chicken, if it's not like the actual chicken itself, is never crispy. So
I was sitting here thinking while y'all were talking about the game, I was thinking about Popeyes and my lifetime experience with Popeyes. There used to be a Popeyes in my tiny little town. But it went away when I was a kid. I don't know why. And they replaced it with a fucking Walgreens of all things you could replace it with. And now the Walgreens isn't even there. It's just an empty building just sitting there. And it could have been a Popeyes. What the hell?
It's the Walgreens, the whole Walgreens fit into the tiny Popeyes building.
I mean, to be fair, I think they demolished it and just rebuilt like a Walgreens building
man,
in
that's
that same
lame.
spot.
Would have been funny
But-
if you put a whole Walgreens inside of Popeyes.
Oh my gosh. So I do not like eating chicken on the bone. So I got the chicken nuggets, which are fairly new, right?
Yeah.
Aren't the
Yeah, they're
Popeyes
really new.
nuggets fairly new?
That-
Okay, yeah. So I got myself some nuggets with some buttermilk ranch and some what do they call it? Bayou buffalo sauce.
Oh, God.
Oh, hey, you make that face, but you accidentally got some of my ranch and you're like, oh, this is really good ranch. Let me have one of
Okay,
those
so
packets.
It just sounds disgusting. Buttermilk ranch.
It's not as disgusting sounding as their blackened ranch. They have blackened ranch too. That one's kind of weird, personally.
After they fry the chicken and they take the oil out, they grab whatever's left in the bottom of the fryer and they put that into their
That's
ranch.
disgusting.
No, that's not how they do it.
No, it's not. Oh my God. So
the
yeah,
ranch-
I got the nuggets.
Oh, sorry, what was that,
It's
champ?
the ranch that they play a bunch of Metallica to. That's why it's the
Oh
black
my
Ah,
God.
okay, that was
Got
a good
some
one.
whiskey in it.
That's a good one. That's a good
I
one.
can't.
Or maybe it's ranch with the whiskey, with
Mhm.
the Metallica whiskey,
Mhm.
which I'm running out of. need some more.
That I'm no.
No.
That's somebody else. Lord have mercy, you made me lose my train of thought. Okay, yeah. So I got the nuggets and I always get the mashed potatoes because I used to always go for the macaroni and cheese until I learned that macaroni and cheese really isn't that good. Why are you laughing?
It's just the wording.
And their biscuits. Oh my God. I always got to have a biscuit, but thankfully the combo comes with a biscuit. And you had
I had the chicken on the bone, like you call it.
the 5-piece meal.
Yeah, 5-piece meal. So this chicken this time it wasn't perfect. The last breast that I ate was excessively dry. I only just peeled the skin off and ate it and left most of the meat on it because it was oh God, it was bad. It was real bad. They say that the biscuits are dry. That chicken was drier than the biscuits. And I had the rice and beans, which I would suggest everybody never touch the rice and beans.
They were so weird. They were like
Smoked.
overly smoky. Overly smoky. It tasted like somebody had a bonfire and then put it in a little styrofoam container.
Yeah, they put a lot of ham in it. There's a lot of ham in it.
I see.
Awful.
I see.
Awful.
It just tasted like somebody had doused it in that smoked liquid that they put on stuff. Oh, that's just nasty. It's bad for no reason.
What did you have, Champ?
Okay, so I got the nuggets because I've never had them before. Okay, we didn't get a Popeyes until like 4 years ago here.
Oh,
Where are you again exactly?
I'm in Virginia, like Western Virginia, and
I
I'm about 40 minutes from Charlottesville. Now, Charlottesville had a Popeyes in what we call the Chicken District, because literally there was a KFC, a Popeyes, a Chick-fil-A, and a what's the chicken fingers place?
Cane's.
Cane's. They were all right next to each other.
Oh my gosh!
So we called it the Chicken District. So I'd had Popeyes before, but not a whole lot of Popeyes. Now, since it's come, I've had Popeyes a lot. I actually really enjoy Popeyes. I enjoy that it's named after a character played by Gene Hackman. Like in the French Connection, Popeye Doyle. He was a real detective, but the movie The French Connection.
I thought you were talking about
named Popeye the Sailor Man.
Yeah,
that's so too.
Like, what?
Wow, I really want to see Gene Hackman as Popeye the Sailor Man.
That would have been great.
So I like Popeyes a lot, and I've never had the nuggets. So I got the nuggets, the 12-piece nugget platter, which is 2 sides.
Oh.
With the sweet heat and the what was the other sauce? The Mardi Gras mustard.
Oh.
Ooh, that sounds
no.
That sounds
It
very
sounds like
conflicting.
no.
And then I got the mashed potatoes, which I'd never had. And for some reason, our Popeyes is only down to 4 sides now. They got rid of corn on the cob. They got rid of. So now you can get fries, mashed potatoes, red beans and rice, and coleslaw. And that's all they have right now. And so I got the red beans and rice, which were fine once I put some Marie Sharp's hot sauce on them. By themselves, I agree they are a little too smoky, but I put the hot sauce on it and then it kind of balanced it out.
How was that Mardi Gras mustard?
It was really good, actually. It's a little vinegary. It's like kind of like a whole grain spicy brown with a little vinegar kick to it. It had a little bit of heat to it, but not like tongue tingle or I'm a big mustard guy. I really like mustard. And this was actually a really well done mustard. It just has a dumb Cajun name, but it didn't taste like Cajun or anything like that. I did have to give it some beads to get the container open, but it was good. It was good mustard.
I don't get it.
It took me a second. Mardi Gras, girls flash you, you throw them beads.
Oh, silly me.
You've been to Mardi Gras Universal.
Oh, shut up.
You haven't seen any titties at Universal?
I may have shown some.
Oh.
Anyway. So it's not like honey mustard.
No, it's not.
Okay, because I hate honey mustard.
It's much more of a savory, I said, it's like a spicy brown mustard kind of. It's a little, it's a little thicker than like a honey mustard dressing, but a little thinner than like a whole grain mustard.
Okay,
but
I would try that.
It's got mustard seed in it. It looks like kind of like a whole grain mustard. It's a little spicy. It's kind of a brown mustard. It's got a little bit of a vinegar to it. I actually really liked it and would totally get that sauce again to put on chicken or fish or whatever, or shrimp or whatever. The sweet heat is what it says on the container. It's got a little
like
bit
a
of
sweet
heat
chili.
to it. It is, that's actually kind of comparable, like a Thai sweet chili. Not quite as sweet as that. It's got a really honey forward taste. Like you can tell that it's sweetened with honey. It's got a really I told my wife that I wish that it had like some kind of tang to it, like a little vinegar or something, because it's a little one note. You do get the sweet and the heat, but it kind of just feels like somebody put cayenne and some honey, and so it's got heat and sweet, but not flavor. I wish that it was a little more complex. My nuggets were a little on the dry side, but we had kind of an adventure, and I didn't get to eat it until like an hour after we got the food.
Oh, no.
Man.
Well, we were going to go. We were going to go to Popeyes. We went and bought a bed last night, and it took longer than we thought it was going to. And so I was like, we'll just get Popeye. I got to eat Popeyes anyway for this podcast. So we'll just stop by Popeyes and get that for dinner. And then we'll stop and get my youngest daughter McDonald's on the way home. We got to McDonald's and there were like 35 cars in the line.
Oh, no.
We'll just go to the other McDonald's on, it's like a mile away. So we go to the other McDonald's. We're waiting in line and the power goes out at that McDonald's.
Oh my God.
What the hell? Oh my God.
So I'm like, all right, well, we'll just go. It's on a strip with a bunch of other fast food places. We'll just go over to Dairy Queen or Arby's and we'll get her a meal there. So, but you have to go a circuitous way and take a lap to get around to the other side of because right on a traffic circle. The good thing is I took a wrong turn and we found a new pupuseria that had like, this is at like 7:30 at night and there were like 40 cars there, not a white dude in sight. So that it's good, like there's no English on their website, no English on their signage.
That's amazing.
So we're going there this week.
That's legit.
And I told my wife, if I went in there and they said, I can't serve you because you're too white, I would say, thank you for your time. I wouldn't even be offended. Like it's gotta be good, So we went and got Arby's for her. So very long story short, it was like an hour before I got to eat this. So I think that may have affected like how juicy or whatever the tenders were. I thought nuggets. I thought they would be actual nuggets, but they're kind of chunks, like bread.
Yeah, they really
chunks.
are.
And so when I think nugget, I think like compressed form, dark and white meat together. And so this was kind of just breast nuggets, which I'm fine with, but I don't like it as much as a mix. If I'm ordering nugget, that's what I expect.
Right.
Overall, they were good. They have a lot of breading on them, I'll say.
They do.
There's a lot of breading on them. They're pretty inconsistent in size. So if you get a 12, like one of them was like fist size and then one of them was like marble size, so but overall I
fist size nugget that would be something to watch.
If they weren't like so
awesome.
Thoroughly coated in breading, I would think they just took their tenders and chopped them up into little pieces because their tenders are so wonky. I don't know.
I think I saw something somewhere that they are just their tender strips just chopped smaller.
Maybe. I do purchasing of food on campus, and so like I have to know literally through Cisco, like a nugget is a pressed formed piece of chicken, a tender is a tenderloin of a chicken cut into a strip, breaded and fried. A fritter is a piece of breast that's made into a tender shape and then fried. And then chunks, which is the only thing you can get right now, are just breast chunks cut up and fried up.
Sounds lovely.
There you go. It's great. Overall, I thought that these nuggets were good, especially with the sauces. I don't know that I would have finished all 12 without any sauce because of the amount of breading, the amount of but that mustard, I would get that and put it on everything. Like I would ask for extra and put it in the drawer where we keep all our sauce packets here and eat it on other things.
See, I did have the nuggets once and they did nothing for me. Also, I was working, I was overheated and I was ready to go home. I was also an hour and a half away from home. And the guy that I was working with was the new manager for the store, and he didn't know what was going on or what he was doing. So I probably was a bit too angry to enjoy the food.
I I had them before this venture and I really, really enjoyed them. I ran to Popeyes on my lunch break one day. I got them same way I got them this time with the ranch and the Bayou Buffalo. Bayou Buffalo. Bayou Buffalo. I loved it, but oh my gosh, this time all the breading and they were also dry, just like your chicken. And that Bayou sauce, it was like a container of red oil. It didn't taste like buffalo sauce at all. It was just oil.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Well, I think my experiences with Popeyes have all been better between like 12 and 4 than my experiences like in the evenings. And I think a lot of it has to do with like they're certainly not changing out their fryers in mid shift and things like that, you know. And when you're frying chicken, the bottoms of those fryers can get filled with pieces of every piece of chicken you've put in there from that day, you know. And so it could be something to do with that. It could be that my nuggets were under a warmer because they were, you know, I was like the 5th or 6th car in line, and maybe I was the 30th car in a row without a break, you know. There are a lot of factors that could have gone into it. That being said, like this particular visit wasn't as successful as previous ones, but I would still go back to Popeyes.
Definitely.
Even if it's to hold them at gunpoint and take all the mustard, you know.
And the biscuits. Don't forget the biscuits.
So it kind of sounds like we both had well, all three of us,
mediocre
both of you, because I didn't go, had a hard visit to Popeyes.
Oh my God, let me tell you about this drive-through experience. So Popeyes here has not opened the lobby for dine-in at all. Even one like everywhere else has. Which is fine, but they will still let you go in to place your order in the lobby. You just can't eat there. Well, they had the lobby completely closed. You couldn't step foot inside for anything. So people were getting out of their cars and walking up to the window, screaming at the employees. The car was the line was wrapped around the block, and the car in front of me, I realized the girl was just making some really weird faces while she's looking at the intercom. So I decided to just turn off the car and roll down the windows because it's that slow that I might as well just turn off the car. And the guy who was working the drive-thru left his mic on the entire time. I shit y'all not. At one point he was cuckoo, cuckoo. Like, what the fuck is happening? They were living their best lives in there.
Just those two
not
employees
serving our food. Yeah, I swear they were the only 2 people working once I finally got up to the window. And it was a hot mess express up there.
Both of my drive-through people were done with their day when I got to the drive-through. It was just like, fuck you want? Yeah, yeah. Drive up to the window, 624. You know, like.
Oh man.
So let me bring it back a little bit to the chicken. I love their fried chicken. I adore fried chicken. Karen doesn't really like it. And before, we've gone to Popeyes, bought food, and just ate it on the hood of our cars. But last time we did that, I got a mixed box of regular and spicy. I ate most of the spicy. I left like a few pieces that I was going to have the next day with some of the regular. And the spicy chicken does not heat up well at all. It is the worst way to eat that spicy chicken. It would be better to grab it cold from the fridge and eat it than to try to reheat
I mean,
it.
fast food isn't supposed to be reheated anyway.
But the thing
I have
is,
to say,
yeah,
air fryer is clutch for reheat.
See, I did it on the air fryer, and the regular, yes.
I thought you did it in the oven.
No, the regular chicken came out perfect, just like if it had just been fried. The spicy one did not. And the spicy one is so good when it's fresh, but reheated, fuck, it's like cardboard, spicy.
I wonder if it has something to do with like the spices they use for the spicy work well in a fryer, but when you bake it, like they burn, or
maybe,
they, you know, like absorb a lot of moisture.
It might be because it does look like when you bite into it, the pieces that have the spice directly on top of it on the meat, you can see that the spice kind of like melts into the meat.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, maybe that just ruins the quality of the meat, because the regular one reheats up perfectly well. We also had something else. What did we have?
Oh, right. We had I think they're new-ish, the Blackberry cheesecake pie things.
Oh,
They
we didn't
were-
have that. Ours didn't have
Oh
that.
man, yeah. So it's like an apple pie, but it's filled with blackberry and cheesecake mixture. I think it would have been better if it had still been hot. It was not hot by any means by the time we finally ate it. And the blackberry was very artificial, and
Really? I thought it was very green.
I thought it was incredibly artificial.
They just picked them that morning.
Tasted like blackberry candy. Oh god. It was okay.
The crust,
It was really crispy and really sweet. Lots of little sugar crystals.
the crust for
top.
me was fantastic. It was probably the best pie crust that I've had from a fast food place ever. It was flaky, it was crunchy, it was buttery, it was smooth, it was whatever your favorite pastry, flake shell, whatever is, amplified by 10. For me, that was way better than the filling. I would have just eaten a bowl of that flake.
Oh gosh.
Maybe
A
you
bowl
should-
of that flake.
Maybe you should get one of those and scrape the filling out and put nuggets in there. And
Yes, yes, fill it up with mustard and just have that sweet
Mustard nuggets.
yeah,
have that sweet
That's
cream
disgusting.
cheese and blackberry undertone. It could work.
Nope.
Weirder things have
Nope.
worked. So
Nope.
like that
Nope.
one guy on TikTok that ate mayonnaise and peanut butter and said it was great.
That's disgusting.
I tell you, my weird combo: blue cheese and honey. It's a really, really good combo.
I
yeah.
can see that, like
Yeah.
especially with some charcuterie. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But then again, honey does make
Prosciutto,
everything
cracker,
better.
honey, blue cheese.
Take a grape, put it in the freezer, wrap it in blue cheese, roll it in crushed nuts, drizzle with honey, pop it and eat it.
That actually sounds really good.
Because it is.
Really good. Oh, honey,
See,
honey.
we have
need to.
we have one listener that just stopped listening when you said wrap a grape in blue cheese.
Ooh.
Kiko and
Oh.
Mariela.
Well, at least we're at the end. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, we already got the download from them. So
We're
we're
gonna
good.
try that. Mhm.
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
What's do you have a weird combo that you like, Karen?
A weird combo that I like. Do I?
I don't know.
Do I? You know me better than I know myself.
I'm not sure.
You know, something that I ate a lot in college, but I don't think it's that weird. I ate a lot of toasted pepperoni and mustard sandwiches.
what?
Pepperoni and mustard. I would take my bread. It had to be toasted. Had to be toasted. Do 2 layers of pepperonis and some mustard.
Okay. Now
That's
that
some good shit.
I thought you
What-
toasted the pepperoni.
No,
Just yellow mustard?
Yep.
Okay.
it was good. I was poor. That was the
Have you
first year
tried-
they took me off the dining plan.
Have you tried putting yellow mustard on a piece of pepperoni pizza?
I have not.
Oh.
There you go.
Some spicy brown on pepperoni.
I think I could really like
That
that.
sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Mine is the golden Oreos with aerosol cheese.
You're so fucking weird. Oh, that was so nasty.
Oh, I wonder if the opposite works. If you take chicken into biscuit crackers and put Oreo filling between. Wonder how that is.
I can't. I can't.
See, the thing that works about it
Well,
is
I've
that
upset Luna.
See, the thing that works about it for me is that it tastes like a quesito. A quesito it's a Puerto Rican pastry that's just puff pastry filled with sweet cream cheese and coated in melted sugar.
That's some good shit.
So the golden Oreo with the cheese mimics that flavor, and it's super crunchy, and it's actually really, really fucking good.
Wasn't there a thing earlier this year where you like mix that cheese, put that cheese on top of something and it tastes exactly like cheesecake? It was like a TikTok
Oh.
thing. I don't remember what you put it on. Maybe it was an Oreo
I
cookie.
don't know. I don't
It
know.
was like an Oreo cookie or a Nilla wafer or something, and you put spray cheese on top of it, and it's supposed to taste like like
I don't think I
cheesecake.
heard that one.
Yeah, it might be. There was also the mustard and watermelon thing that I wanted to try, but I never could because the watermelon that we got went bad.
Yeah, you let it sit in the fridge too long, molded.
You
Yeah.
can
At
do
least your
crazy
aunt
things
bought
with
it.
watermelon. You can make ham out of watermelon.
Yeah, you can.
It tastes exactly like ham.
I don't do watermelon.
And she doesn't do ham
I don't
either.
really like ham either. Yeah.
oh, my God.
You
So-
can have fun without me.
So what when our friends say that your taste buds are broken, they are broken. They are not right.
Lots of people like key lime pie and lemon cake. Lots of people.
Champ,
Oh, I love key
Please.
lime pie, and
Oh,
I like
thank
lemon
you.
pie.
Thank you.
I like pie more than cake 1,000%.
Same.
okay, no, pie in general or lemon based.
I like savory pies. I like sweet pies. I do not like canned pie filling. I'll say that. That canned
Yeah.
cherry pie filling and stuff like that is
No.
disgusting. But we have a really kind of famous pie place here. They're like cookbook is nationally known. They still use lard in the crust and
Oh boy.
like it's like for real pies. And their lemon
Mhm.
meringue, their chocolate pie, their key lime pie, their pecan pie are
Mm.
Pecan
unreal.
pie. Oh man.
They're
You know, we should-
unreal.
We need to garbage some dessert places. We need to like go to Charlie's Bakery. Things like that.
We should go to Carlos Bakery and say that their cannolis are actually not
Carlos
good.
Bakery is not that good. It is not good. But it's also a chain version of
the
the
real
Carlos Bakery.
thing. Yeah.
It's not gonna be well. I hope that the stuff at the actual Carlos tastes better than the ones at the Florida
Well,
Mall.
it's not made by Carlo anymore because he had his hand mulched. So
Wait, what?
yeah, earlier this
It's
year
Buddy.
he had
Carlos dead.
what?
Carlos been dead for a long time.
Buddy.
Buddy.
Well, Buddy's not making them anymore because he had his hand mulched.
You know, I saw something on TLC of him like talking about his recovery. I was like, what's he talking about? And then I forgot about it.
Did
I
they put the
totally
hand in a
forgot.
pie?
What did he do?
I don't. I'm not exactly sure, but a hand pie.
I'll have to Google
That's funny. I'm not exactly sure. I know he's been in recovery for a while. I think he was going to do a show with Duff.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they've done a couple
Buddy
together,
versus
right?
Duff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it got cut short because of his injury, but I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure.
My
I
old
also-
pastry chef on campus worked for Buddy for like 3 years.
That's awesome.
Going back to cannolis. You like cannolis, Champ?
I like cannolis, but on the proviso that they are filled on site. They have you can't like a cannoli in a cabinet or like in a display case. I don't want it. I kind of want the shell. I want you to warm it up just a little bit and then take really cold pastry cream and fill the middle of it. Like I don't like them thaw and serve. I don't like. I'm very particular about it. My wife is like that, and she rubbed off on me. So
Okay, so
What the fuck?
what?
Sorry, I'm reading what happened to him. No, it was a freak bowling accident where the pin setter malfunctioned and impaled his hand multiple times. I have never.
why
gone
was he
bowling
messing
again.
with the pin setter? That's all the way at the end of the lane. Does Buddy work at a bowling alley?
After trying to release the bowling pin from the cage mechanism, his right hand became lodged and compressed. He said he was just trying to have fun with his family. I guess maybe
messing with
he
the
decided
bowling
to take
pin?
matters into
Why?
his own hands when it malfunctioned and then lost use of his hand.
I didn't know if it was that or he made a cake of a pin setter and everything went wrong.
Because he would make a cake like that. Oh my god. Anyway, sorry to interrupt. Cannolis, yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so obviously you're safe to say a cannoli connoisseur because
I
you
love
have a
cannolis.
specific way that you like to eat them. The cream, does it need to have lemon zest or not?
It depends. Like the cannolis that we make for work, if someone orders cannolis, I'm going to tell you, it's a pre-made, pre-bagged stuff that gets piped into a frozen, thaw-out cannoli shell, and that has chocolate chips in it. I'm not going to
Mm.
make that shit. I guess the traditional is like if you get them in Italy or something, like there's a big Italian dessert called spumoni that's kind of like a pudding. I know that's in a lot of them. But I always see them with chocolate chips in them. But I don't mind some lemon zest. I'm a lemon guy though.
I'm not
Like lemon blueberry, that'd probably be really good.
Right? He hates lemon everything.
Lemon blueberry,
Everything.
it just it tastes like the milk is curdled, or the
No,
cream
it
that they
doesn't.
used, it curdled. And that is, after having rotten milk come out of my nose when I was a child once, that's enough to put me off of lemon zest
Oh
for the
my
rest
God.
of
Did
my
you
life.
drink rotten milk and then it came out of your nose, or did you just spontaneously spew rotten milk out of your nose?
That would be a good story to tell if it was actually
Junji Ito could write a whole manga about you.
about
The
spoiled
man
milk.
who spewed spoiled milk.
Well, it could be that they use lemon extract also in the cream that you like. Lemon extract will pledge something up real good. It will
No,
immediately taste like furniture polish.
no.
And yeah,
So I'm not 100%. Oh, I was outside playing with the neighborhood kids and I was thirsty. So I ran inside to drink water. And like you see me, I have a gallon of water. I've always had a gallon of water that I drink out of. So I reached into the fridge,
You weren't paying
found
attention.
a jug handle, pulled it, uncapped it, and took a swig. It was not good milk anymore.
a little thicker
that's-
than you were bargaining for.
Yeah, it was thicker, chunkier, not right. And I just choked on it and it just came out of my nose. And yeah,
What was worse, the in or the out?
the out, because you can smell it afterwards for a long time.
You're still smelling it now.
Sometimes in the right weather conditions, I can smell it and I can taste it too.
I
So
never would have been able to drink milk again.
Uh,
Never.
I'm still so weird about milk too, because when I was like 3 years old once, I saw that whenever my mom cooked, she would put adobo on food. And I decided to put adobo in the milk. And
Mhm.
every night my parents would give me a bottle of milk while I went to bed. And it was the milk with the adobo in it. And
So you had some
Yeah.
garlicky milk.
garlicky, salty, yeah. God. Yeah.
I'm gonna be sick. We need to wrap this up.
All right, since we
can't.
got away from Popeyes, Karen, give me your
Remind me again what the two lesser, not garbage. What is meh and okay?
yeah, meh, okay, garbage.
So meh is the lesser.
Yeah.
Okay is okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of meh. This time, normally it's okay or garbage.
What about you, champ?
I mean, usually it's garbage or close to garbage for me.
Yeah.
But this was definitely a very okay visit. Like I'm very, very excited. I discovered the mustard. Like that was exciting.
Mhm.
That sounds like a game
But
changer. Oh,
The
fuck,
food was
Donkey
okay.
Kong
I
fell.
can't wait to try the mustard with the Cajun fish and shrimp. Like that's gonna be
That'll be awesome.
that'll be really good.
See, being a fan of malt vinegar, I think
I love malt vinegar as well.
I think that's a mustard with a heavy vinegar taste on fish would be pretty fucking awesome. So yeah, that we should next time we go ask for that sauce for no reason.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot
For
one
no
thing.
reason.
The biscuits.
They
Yeah.
were dry as fuck this time. They were so dry.
Put honey on them and eat them. that's the oh my god, I just love biscuits and honey. It's so good. But for me, this was okay. It was very okay. The rice sucked. The mashed potatoes were good. And the chicken, the good pieces were good. The bad piece was real bad. So
It wasn't great, unfortunately.
yeah, no, it
Not this time.
not this time. And surprising because they won the chicken challenge. The
They had a good day that day. We know that they're capable of having more good days than bad. It was just we happened to find them on a bad day.
Yeah, we did. All right, so let's go ahead and get into some housekeeping. First up, go sign up for Patreon. We are doing for the 31st Halloween something. We're not entirely 100% sure yet.
We're definitely still doing the Marvel movies too. We just life has been hard.
Yeah, we haven't had time for anything. I tried to get the whole day off today so we could do this earlier. And my boss is like, oh, the other guy needed the weekend off because he's moving. I was like, well, when he comes in on Monday, he's gonna have the hardest route. So it was supposed to be my weekend off anyways.
I had to do a virtual baby shower today because that's a real thing that happens.
Yes, they are real things. I conveniently am unavailable for every single one I've been invited to.
It was my niece, so I couldn't get out of it.
No,
Oh,
you
man.
couldn't get out of that one. Damn.
Torture.
Damn. There've also been virtual wedding showers, virtual everything, virtual sex parties.
No, God, no.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Just imagine somebody just rubbing something up and down on the webcam. Remember to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at anovelconsole, on Facebook and facebook.com/anovelconsole. Don't forget, you can also tell your friends that they can find the podcast on most major podcast streaming platforms, that they can also listen on YouTube by searching for Novel Console. Don't forget to tell them to subscribe, like, and comment, which we would like if they did. You should also leave a review on Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts so that more people can find us. And you can also email us at anovelconsole@gmail.com, and we will read your email on the show. And our art was done by Metamorphic.
Burgerchamp is not the only person allowed to email us.
Yes,
Everyone can email.
we love weekly Burgerchamp emails. They are the highlight of the week. Every time I see them, I was like, yes.
My mom
that.
is so excited to finally have a voice to put with the name. And she is like, I always want to email you guys, but my emails would pale in comparison to his emails.
Her emails would be like, stop saying fuck so much.
Yeah, stop saying the F word.
Stop saying shit. Now, Champ, anything you would like to plug, anything you would like to bring up, anything at all that
Shout
you would
outs,
like to say?
anything.
I have a very low social media presence, so I mean, I'm in a lot of discords. I guess I'm in the Codex Discord. That's how we met. And no, I got nothing.
Before we started recording, I asked Karen, what picture does Burgerchamp have on his Goodreads? And she says, it's a cheeseburger with eyes. I was like, yeah, of course it is.
I don't know why I was surprised.
It used to be a Spider-Man party balloon, but where you inflated the Spider-Man.
Oh, I've seen those.
He was like
I've
in
seen
a
those.
leaping position, and where you inflate it was a little tab between the legs. And so it was just a Spider-Man with a huge dong, but in balloon form.
I like the cheeseburger with the googly eyes better.
Yeah.
That was actually made by one of the members of my other one of my other Discords, because most of my comments get an eye roll, so they made a burger specific eye roll.
That is amazing.
See,
amazing.
The thing is, like, Champ has really good dad jokes. Every time somebody says something and he can make something out of it, he takes the shot without hesitating.
I can't.
And we appreciate that at the Codex Discord.
Oh gosh.
But yeah, I guess that's it. Unless you want to have anything else to bring up, Karen.
No, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. It was a really good time.
I know
Yeah,
all of our listeners will appreciate it and stop confusing you with Cheeseburger Dave
yeah
from the radio.
I don't know who that is, and every time they bring it up, it's like, it's Burgerchamp. Burgerchamp. Yeah. But yeah, it was great having you. We appreciate it. And any time at all you want to come on, let us know. We'll have you on happily. So
If you're reading something that sounds fascinating, or I've read or playing something, I'll jump on.
all right, sounds great. All right, so do you both want to say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
I guess we're keeping up this theme. Goodbye, everyone.